Hi, this is Latifah with Latifah Saafir Studios. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're going to talk all about the Clammy. The Clammy is a template set that I was able to design based completely off of exploring the clamshell quilt. The very first clamshell quilt I made ended up being called the Clam, and I made it pretty selfishly because of the fact that it's such a classic, beautiful shape that I wanted to make quilts out of it. Clamshells traditionally are about that big and they're all hand pieced. Since I don't love the process of hand piecing, I decided I would blow the template up, figure out a really effective way in sewing it on my sewing machine so that I can make as many clamshell quilts as I can, and I've made plenty of them over time. You've also made a ton of them. The Clam quilt has a couple of different versions of the pattern. This is the very latest version, and it just has updated with the new template information in it. We'll get to that in just a second. But that's the Clam quilt. So I was able to design the template set to be a multifunctional template set. Acrylic is really expensive. It's expensive to produce and it's expensive to buy. So I didn't want to make a clamshell template that just cut out clamshells. So enter the Clammy. And the Clammy is designed so that it cuts out all of the curved shapes, so full circle, half circle, quarter circle, and orange peel, and just about any other curved shape that's based off of a regular circle. That's a 6-inch, 8-inch, 12-inch, and the brand new 10-inch Clammy, which I'm really excited about. And you'll also see my brand new packaging for the Clammy. So I'm really excited about that. Back up to the Clam quilt. This is kind of your classic layout. Everything is in the same, all the clamshells are in the same orientation, and it goes together a row at a time, left to right, top to bottom. A really nice, fun, classic layout. It looks great in any kind of fabric that you select or choose. Now we have the Clam Toss quilt. The Clam Toss quilt is completely different because our clamshells are now all tossed in different directions. And the really fun thing about this are the secondary patterns and designs that come up just based upon fabric placement, period. So be sure to print out your coloring pages with this and really play with and look at color and layout and just create some really fun dynamic quilts with that. And we also just released the Clammy Basics. Now the Clammy Basics are a little bit more detailed information on how to piece and cut out and press your registration marks and all of that for all of the other 4 basic shapes that you'll find on the Clammy. Then on the Clammy, inside of your packaging has cutting instructions for all of those shapes, but a lot of you wanted a little bit more. So for the full circle, half circle, quarter circle, and orange peel, I give you the Clammy Basics. Now this is a mini pattern, so it's a really compact pattern, but it's very thorough. So we have cutting instructions in a little bit more detail, how to press your registration marks, how to sew each individual block, and it gives you all of the information you need on how many pieces of fabric you need and how many pieces to cut for every shape. And then what's really valuable, so you don't have to do any of the math, it gives you layouts for baby through king size for the 6-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch, and the 12-inch Clammy, and that's for all of the shapes. So there's one for each of the shapes. The really fun part of this pattern, I think, is just this little section at the bottom, because my hope is for you to take these templates and patterns, and you can make the cover quilt, of course, but I want you to go and play and explore and really kind of play with the possibilities. So it gives you a couple of different ideas for each particular shape on what else you can do and how you can play and explore, so be sure to do that. I want to give you one really quick tip when you do decide to play. So if you look at each one of the clamshells, or the Clammies, and the clamshell shape here, when you're cutting and you're playing with things, that top curve always cuts out the shape. So for instance, with the full circle, that top curve is what you use to cut out the circle. The bottom 2 curves on the Clammy cut out the background fabric. So those are the curves that you use to cut out that white background right there on that shape. So just a little quick hint, so when you're playing and trying to figure it out on your own, you can say, oh, Latifah said the top curve is for the shape and the bottom 2 curves are for your background. Anyway, let's dive right into looking at everything that the Clammy can do. I have lots of information available, so check out the other videos on the YouTube channel. And remember, nothing is ever difficult if you take it one stitch at a time.